is a big idea, a new world order.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is December 5th, 2010. Glad you all could be with me tonight on this pre-holiday show. With me tonight, I've got some more information to add to what we talked about last week with this terror scare in Portland, Oregon, and of course, the repercussions of it. Homegrown terror, a threat from within. This is the headline that we see from the Portland Tribune, propaganda on the local level. I want you to pay attention to what's said over here in this headline, rather over here. Young Muslims turn radical despite comfy lives inside this country. And this is something that's stated as fact by your very own Portland Tribune. Let's quickly go into some of the other headlines that we're looking at tonight. We have this, and we're going to go over this, and this is from the Oregonian. City Hall, a look back on Mayor Tom Potter's decision to pull Portland out of the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force. It's important because Adams is going to bring us back into the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force. We have other things to talk about as well. We have some of the letters that people have written to the Oregonian reacting to the Portland bomb plot. We have that right here. Let's go ahead and start at the top. Accused Portland bomb plotter Muhammad pleads not guilty. Attorneys raise entrapment issue. Muhammad, by the way, his middle name here is Osman, reminiscent of Tim Osman, known to be the CIA handler name for Osama bin Laden. But it reads here, Muhammad Osman Muhammad's defense team suggested Monday that undercover FBI operatives may have entrapped their 19-year-old client, grooming him for a foiled bomb plot that prosecutors timed for maximum media exposure. Muhammad's lawyers joined him in Portland's U.S. District Court, where he pleaded not guilty to accusations that he attempted to ignite a bomb next to thousands of Christmas revelers, people that were awaiting the lights being turned on the tree, a ritual that people practice every year in Portland, Oregon. So it's being alleged that he was going to blow them up, frightening many people in the crowd. And of course, it could have caused a stampede. But, of course, that didn't stop the FBI from engaging in this fear-mongering operation. Here's some slides here. This is an artist's rendition of the courtroom Monday of this week in downtown Portland. Here's another headline here. Portland bomb plot case likely to serve as primer on entrapment and other FBI sting issues. Professor Tunyon planned to teach about sentencing laws Monday night at Lewis and Clark Law School. But shortly before class, he switched gears, opening a lively debate on a case ripped from the news, the United States of America versus Muhammad Osman Muhammad. Students in his criminal procedure class, known informally as bail to jail, spent 75 minutes discussing whether the government overstepped its legal boundaries to make a terrorism case against the 19-year-old college student. Since news of his arrest has broken, pundits have seized on what they describe as the FBI's encouragement, support, and funding of Muhammad's alleged attempt to bomb Portland's holiday tree lighting ceremony. Many are now wondering whether the Bureau's undercover operatives had coached him into the crime, and a headline in Salon reads, "The FBI successfully thwarts its own terrorist plot." So it's being widely questioned within the city. Someone texted me the other day saying their sister's brother's a cop in the Portland police. He thinks it's a setup. It's obvious to a lot of people with a full functioning brain that it's a setup. And yes, it's a distraction. It is a distraction from the other issues going on our planet. It's also deliberate. They're also deliberately doing this in Portland for some reason strategically. This is the same city that hosted Top Off 4. Bill, let's bring up some of those images of the helicopters. I talk about those on the show. These are the, of course, for reference here, M86 Little Birds. And in 2008, downtown Portland was swarmed with these. These guys are carrying M16s. They're ready for action. They're locked and loaded. The mayor at the time, Potter, authorized them to use live fire to be dropped on buildings, basically to scare people. It all happened unannounced. Okay, we had Top Off 4 in 2007. And in the drill, what are they preparing for? some sort of a event. It could be an Al-Qaeda attack. It could be something else. But it shuts down Portland and gives the government total control over our city. In the event of a disaster, they're preparing to take over the city. So why do I talk about this stuff on Access TV on a regular basis? Mayor Adams needs to have the pressure put on him to do the right thing. There's a lot of things going down in the city that just aren't cool, and he knows this. So research Top Off 4, take a look at it, and let's go back into some of the other reports here. Let's go into this. Jim Redden, he's an author over at the Portland Tribune. He wrote the book Snitch Culture about a decade ago. The headline reads, Informant Names Deleted from Police Spine. City auditor says state privacy law requires purge of information. Okay, what this goes into, it talks about the records that were kept on 576 groups, activist groups, other groups in Portland, Oregon, by the Portland Police's very own Red Squad. So locally, it's documented between 1965 and 1985, the Portland Police's Red Squad kept records on over 576 groups in Portland, Oregon. And so, of course, there's a red flag that comes up when it comes to the FBI Joint Task Force and things of that nature. No accountability, just knowing what's already happened in Portland, Oregon, which this article goes into. It talks about how the informants, how their privacy has been protected. Of course, their social security numbers being blacked out, health records, and other records that link to their true identity. And so we see this type of criminality going on the local level. Nothing new here. We're just reviewing information. And of course, we have this one here. Tensions grow between California Muslims and FBI after informant infiltrates mosque. We have new information that has recently come out where the FBI sent in an informant to go into a mosque and talk about bombing things, destroying things, and of course, the people, the Muslims in the mosque, they call the FBI on the FBI's own informant. And that is exactly what this 6-page Washington Post article goes into that I'm holding in my hands right here. There's so much documentation. I can't cover it all. But read more about that for more information. If you want to talk about it, give me a call at 503-288-4442, 503-288-4442. We are taking phone calls tonight. Hey, Bill, let's go ahead and roll that clip. And I believe it was track number 2. Just for review, this is the mainstream media, government-approved propaganda with the official version of reality, the official story in terms of what happened in Portland last week with this terror scare. Let's go ahead and roll it, and let's go over some other information.
Could a holiday tree lighting ceremony have been the latest target for terror? This is a look at Portland, Oregon's Christmas tree Friday night. The FBI says just as thousands of people were gathered in the area of the tree for the lighting ceremony, this man, Muhammad Osman Muhammad, dialed a cell phone that he thought would trigger explosives in a van parked nearby. In fact, he was already being watched by the FBI, and the bomb was a fake set up by authorities. He was arrested a short time after dialing the phone. An FBI affidavit says the attack was planned for months, and at one point, a practice bomb was detonated in Oregon's backwoods. Muhammad allegedly told agents at one point, "Since I was 15, I thought about all this. It's going to be a fireworks show. A spectacular show." Muhammad is 19 and is a naturalized U.S. citizen who lives in Corvallis. He's been charged with attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction. He'll appear in court on Monday. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Okay, and so we have people only getting one version of the story. Heavy emphasis on the FBI took him out to Lincoln County here in Oregon. Okay, and they taught him how to blow up a backpack. The FBI is running around with taxpayer dollars, teaching people how to blow things up. You see, in a world out there where there's so much injustice going on, you and I both know it's very easy to find people to go and blow things up if you've got the money, honey. And of course, in a world where many are enslaved to the almighty dollar bill, or they hold it up as if it is the almighty, the way that this fiat currency is worshipped by so many people, it's not hard to find people to do really dirty, really nasty things. if enough green is being provided. And as long as these people are in control of printing money out of thin air, much as possible, when money can do so much to corrupt someone. Now, we have a lot of examples of this happening over and over and over again. And of course, this Washington Post article is very key. Tension grows between California Muslims. FBI after informant infiltrates mosque. Many things to keep into context here. How the media can influence people to act in a certain way when they report on the stories in a certain fashion. Homegrown terror, a threat from within. Young Muslims turn radical despite comfy lives within this country, reads the headline. And then we read about people attacking mosques. And other headlines are also in the news. Oregonians are being tested, the people in the Pacific Northwest, on how tolerant they are of Muslims. When stories like the Corvallis attack on the mosque down there hits the news. The way that it's being presented by MSNBC or the mainstream media or even the local media. You would think that the local media, the local reporters would have enough common sense to ask the questions that need to be asked, especially when it's their own goddamn hometown. Well, some of these people, some of these reporters aren't even from Portland, so they have no allegiance to this city. Like, I'm from this city. I care about what happens to this city. I don't understand how these reporters at KGW, just that they don't see enough lies day after day after day, how they can actually go through and report this crap the way they want to report it. To me, that's insanity. That's the very definition of it. This stuff is relevant, and it's clearly happening to our city for a purpose. They had Top Off 4 in the city for a purpose, for a very reason. It wasn't just some sort of an accident. So this is more than just simply a distraction. We have millions bracing for a cutoff of unemployment checks. We have that in the news. We have this stage war provocation between the United States and China and North Korea, this chest pounding going on. That really shouldn't happen. I mean, you have the same source, of course, funding everybody in preparation for some great clash of civilizations. The graphic you're seeing on the screen here highlights the information that we have here now on the table about some major drill that's now underway between Japan and the United States, the largest between these two nations. Biggest U.S.-Japan naval drill starts amid North Korea crisis. The largest ever U.S. games, U.S.-Japan war games kicked off Friday in waters off the tense Korean peninsula as the UN atomic watchdog voiced great concern about North Korea's nuclear ambitions. So we have this terror scare in Portland. We have wide opposition to the TSA. We have, of course, Monsanto trying to push through Senate Bill 510. In no way should you be overwhelmed by this information, but you see how it's all happening at the same point in time. And, of course, these war games are increasing. The United States and South Korea are increasing the war games that they're doing. China, of course, is hosting its own war games in response. We're going to see more of this throughout 2011, 2012, and the foreseeable future until something dramatically changes on our planet in terms of consciousness to put an end to such nonsense. Will such a thing happen? I'm not putting my my chips in that particular category at this time. We need to go into this, and this is important. If you have anything to say about this, you're free to call in. Just please, if you do, make sure your TV's turned down first. From the Oregonian, a look back on Mayor Tom Potter's decision to pull Portland out of the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force. This is about 5 or 6 pages. I'm going to go through some of this, though, to highlight the key parts. Former Mayor Tom Potter made national headlines in April 2005 when he led a city council vote to pull Portland out of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. The vote drew rare overflow crowds to City Hall and came after the FBI declined Potter's request for more civilian oversight. Potter said at the time, "This is not a question of mistrust, it's a question of knowing what the police officers of the city are doing. That's my job." Mayor Sam Adams said over the weekend that he will reevaluate the city's position on the task force in light of the bomb plot by 19-year-old Mohammed. In 2004, here's what Adams said about the city's role on the task force. Quote, "If the Joint Terrorism Task Force gives me the security clearance to review the files, I will vote yes. If they don't go and give me the clearance, I will vote no." End quote. At the time, the council also had worries about the